What happens when you take a hero who's completely given up and force him on a journey through, a literal hell on earth? Well, that's the story we're diving into today, Old Man Logan. We're going to follow his brutal trek across this bizarre, shattered place called Battleworld, all based on that awesome Warzones comic series. So this story kicks off with a guy who's just done. He's sworn off violence, he's tried to just live a quiet life, but his world has zero peace to offer. And let's be real, when you're the best there is at what you do, peace isn't really in the cards, is it? So the big question is, what on earth could drag this guy back into the fight?
All right, to get that, we've got to understand two things: the man himself and the totally wrecked world that made him this way.
First things first, this is not the Wolverine you're probably used to. This guy is haunted, just completely weighed down by the absolute worst night of his life. I'm talking about the night the villain Mysterio tricked him into doing the unthinkable. He made him kill his own family, the X-Men. And that right there, that's the heart of all his pain. See, back in his world, the villains all ganged up, and they won. Yep, they won. They wiped out pretty much every hero, and the world as Logan knew it was just gone, carved up and destroyed. He was one of the only ones left standing, and he's been carrying that weight, that failure, ever since. But here's the crazy part. It wasn't just his world that died. It was everything, the entire Marvel multiverse, every single reality, every timeline just wiped out. And the heroes? They couldn't do a thing to stop it. We're talking failure on a cosmic, unimaginable level. So from all that destruction, only one thing was left. This place called Battleworld. The best way to think about it is like a Frankenstein's monster, but a planet. It's literally stitched together from little pieces of all those dead realities. Each piece is its own little kingdom or domain, but they all have to bow down to one guy, the undisputed God King of this whole mess, Dr. Doom. Okay, so our guy Logan, he's stuck in one of these domains, and it's a total wasteland, by the way. But then something happens. Something that makes him break the number one, absolute, most important rule of Battleworld. You never, ever leave your territory. And what was it? Well, a piece of another world literally falls out of the sky, an Ultron head of all things. Logan has no clue where it's from or what it means. But suddenly, for the first time in 50 years, he has a mission. He becomes totally obsessed with one question. What's on the other side of the wall? And here it is. You can see him doing it. That's pure defiance. He pops the claws and starts climbing this impossibly huge wall that separates all the kingdoms. This is a huge no-no. It's basically a sin against the God King Doom. And when he gets to the top, he's looking out at a world he hasn't seen in half a century. It's the total unknown. You'd think this quest for answers might lead to freedom, right? Nope, it leads him somewhere so much worse. Yeah, his little adventure lasts about 5 seconds. He pretty much falls right off the wall and lands smack in the middle of a new kingdom, a kingdom ruled by one of his oldest, most powerful enemies, the one and only Apocalypse. And in this place, Apocalypse isn't just some supervillain. He is the law. He's the official baron that Doom put in charge, and he really doesn't like uninvited guests. To him, this strange old Logan is just some bug that wandered into his kingdom, a bug that needs to be squashed. So just when you think he's toast, he gets saved by the X-Men. Can you even imagine the mind trip that must be? He's being rescued by the faces of the people he was forced to murder, but these aren't his friends. They're strangers, loyal to Apocalypse. It's just this cruel, twisted, living reminder of his greatest failure. Well, that rescue doesn't last long, and his journey is about to go from bad to so much worse. We're talking out of the frying pan and into the fire, a fire that makes Apocalypse's world look like a day at the beach. They basically decide he's too much of a problem, so they just toss him over another wall. And this time, he lands in a literal, actual hell on Earth, a place called the Deadlands, and it is exactly what it sounds like. A swarming, non-stop nightmare filled with flesh-eating zombies and vicious symbiotes. There's no mission here. There's no way out. It is just pure, brutal, second-to-second survival. The comic itself says it best. God bailed on this place a long time ago. It's just a constant, grinding fight where the only way it ends is you get ripped to shreds and become one of them. His only tiny, microscopic sliver of hope comes from another person trapped in this hell.
She-Hulk. Or this world's version of her, anyway. She sees him, realizes he's not from this nightmare, and offers him the only way out you could possibly imagine. A desperate, 1 in a million, Fastball Special clean out of the Deadlands.
And this crazy, desperate plan? Well, it leads to the climax of Logan's absolutely insane trip across Battleworld.
So She-Hulk just winds up and unleashes everything she's got. Logan becomes a human cannonball, just rocketing through the sky. He has no control, no idea where he's going, and absolutely no clue what kind of new nightmare he's about to crash into.
And the speed of this fall is just devastating. You can see him just punching through buildings, this broken man falling into a modern city, a site that's got to be totally alien to him after spending 50 years in a desert wasteland.
Somehow, he pulls himself out of the rubble. He's bloody, but he's alive. And then he does something he hasn't done in forever. He takes a deep breath of clean air. You can almost feel the relief, right? After decades of breathing nothing but dust and death, this must feel pure.
But that relief, it turns into pure shock. He looks out and he sees it. A skyline he thought was gone forever. The Daily Bugle building. He's looking at New York City, a city that looks alive, whole. After fighting his way through literal hell, he's found the impossible, a piece of his old world, still here. Which leaves us with the biggest question of all. In a world that's built on nothing but misery, what is a hero supposed to do when he's suddenly staring at a tiny glimmer of impossible hope?